All right, guys, what's up? It's Jack, and welcome back to another video. And you know what? I think it's time that Scump and hell, the rest of the guys over at Optic and the entire pro scene for the Call of Duty League or whatever, the CDL or whatever the hell they want to call it. I think it's time for them to jump ship to XDefiant, or a whole bunch of them to jump ship to XDefiant. Now, we know, obviously, that not all of them are going to jump, especially right away, especially since they're already playing on a team and they're contract bound. Hundreds and thousands of dollars, and God knows what else that would be attached to it. But what happened very recently was that Scump actually got banned live while doing a watch party for the CDL in order to try to promote it. And live towards the end of the stream, I guess, or at a certain point, I don't know, I wasn't watching or anything like that. I just happened to see a video about it and I'm like, holy crap. And it's trending all over Twitter and such, or X. And yeah, basically he got copyright struck or copyright claimed or whatever. And basically his stream was shut down midstream, mid watch party, in which to where he had to basically shut down the watch party. And if there's anybody that, you know, would be whitelisted, so to speak, or who we thought was whitelisted, it would be Scump, because he is one of the most popular, if not the most popular player, and to this day even, because he's retired. And what he's doing is actually clever, though. Even though I haven't been watching very much on that, and I'm not by any means his biggest fan or anything like that, but I kind of, you know, take a peek here and there and see what he's up to every once in a while. And I respect the fact that even though he's retired, he's trying to help his fellow pro players or the new players or whatnot. He's trying to grow the league. He's actually one of the guys that actually, you know, built the league in the first place and helped make it to the popularity that it is today. And then to see this happen to him is kind of like, you know, I mean, it just also goes to show and just to prove to you that Activisions themselves don't really care about anybody regardless of whatever the thing is. It's like, you know, and don't forget, guys, I know what you guys are thinking. Well, what about all these other guys? Well, remember, some of these other big names that are under the Call of Duty shill whitelist, so to speak, right? Not all of them have said anything bad. As a matter of fact, the majority of them haven't, or at least not when it was applicable, right? In other words, like within the first few months after the game comes out, you know, it's like you can't say anything. And then after about halfway through, when sales are down and it doesn't matter anymore, it's like, we don't care. We're already thinking about the next Call of Duty. Say whatever you want, whatever, you know, because whenever the new Call of Duty comes out, you know, they're always going to come back and say, well, this game sucked. But they said the opposite when the game was out during its life cycle. You know what I mean? But back on topic here. If you guys remember, back in Modern Warfare 2019's life cycle, Scump pretty much spoke his mind and said that it was one of the worst Call of Duties ever made. And I'm paraphrasing with that, but I'm sure you guys know that that was the case, right? Scump did not like Modern Warfare 2019. He thought the pubs were terrible and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, yeah. I mean, overall, Scump just had bad things to say about Modern Warfare 2019. And then in future ones, you know, I mean, he was asked, you know, what do you think about this game? And he's like, I'm not getting fined again. Or what do you think about, you know, this? I'm not getting fined again. And then, you know, whenever the new one comes out, you know, he'll be like, you know, he has to kind of choose very carefully in terms of what to say. But now that's no longer the case because he is retired. So therefore, you know, they can't fine him or whatnot, you know. But since they couldn't fine him, it's like, okay, we're going to do the next thing. We're going to shut down his stream or whatnot. And this guy's literally doing things to actually help the company, if you think about it. Because the only thing that I could say, you know, I mean, obviously Scump, you know, wants to keep making his money. He wants to continue getting the viewership that he's getting and all that kind of stuff. I understand from that aspect. But Scump knows what's wrong with Call of Duty, and he knows what's wrong with Call of Duty better than most of us. You know, I'm sure he's taken a peek behind the scenes, you know, maybe not as much as we like to think, but I'm pretty sure he's taken a good peek behind the scenes. And, you know, he's intelligent. He knows. And on top of that, you know, you got Hector, who also knows, you know, a lot of what's going on, all that kind of stuff. And Hector really, one thing I will say about Hector, though, is that he seems to really care about the players and he respects them and he wants to make sure that they have a continuous amount of income coming in and an opportunity for the players, both in his organization and out of his organization, for them to continue to move on forward, but especially within his organization, right? And let's get real here. Nobody draws money as much as Scump. As a matter of fact, Scump is one of those, he's one of those personalities, well, not personalities necessarily, excuse me, let me rephrase that. He's one of those players, right, that has had so much of an impact in terms of his popularity and everything like that, as he was, building a name for himself coming up ever since the days of Modern Warfare 3 and beyond. Or should I even say Black Ops 1? But he didn't get his first shout out until Modern Warfare 3 by Ronaldinho. And then after that, it just kind of spiraled and took all over it really took off. And at the same time, Scump worked really hard. Like, he was uploading every day. He was streaming, doing everything, right? Competing and all that kind of stuff. The man worked hard. I will absolutely give him that. But the thing is, Scump is so popular within the community to this day, even though he's retired, that if he were to jump ship and actually go to XDefiant, there would be a really big chunk of the community that would actually follow him. I actually have no doubt whatsoever that a very large portion of the community, both fans and competitive players alike, would actually follow, especially the following year. Right. And the only thing that some players will say is, well, the next game, the Treyarch game, might actually be a good game, which is true. It could actually be a good game. But at the same time, you can't forget about what's going on and what's been going on over the last handful of years. Because what Scump just experienced here with him getting banned like this, regular old players and, of course, content creators as well have been experiencing a different version of the same thing within their game. Like, there's people that are being falsely banned. Obviously, there's people that are also being rightfully banned and stuff like that, because as time has shown, especially over the recent years, that, the quote unquote players that were getting all these amazing gameplays, on stream at Warzone or in pubs or whatever, they're actually not that good because they were cheating. So many people have been caught cheating. It's insane. And for a lot of them, it's like, it doesn't matter anymore anyway, because quite frankly, they've already made their money and that was it. Or, people just don't care anymore. You know what I mean? That's the thing. There's so much of that going on. But back on topic here, with Scump, he holds a lot of power in his hands. Like, if Scump were to say, I'm going to move and I'm going to do a watch party for this game, or I'm going to do, or for instance, if he were to pick up, let's say XDefiant, and he were to fall in love with it, and then XDefiant would build in their own pro league and stuff like that, which they are going to do. And Mark Rubin himself on Twitter has stated that he's actually very excited about it in terms of the plans going forward and stuff like that. And you got former two-time Call of Duty world champion Aches that's helping design the game. And I'm sure he's going to have a big part in terms of how competitive ends up as well. There's something to be said about that. There really is something to be said about that. And Scump really holds so much power and influence. For him to just let's say all of a sudden he's like, I'm done with COD, F COD or whatever. It's like, I've helped build this and now they're doing this. It's like, yeah, I'm out. I'm not doing it anymore. Right. So it's like, if he were to do that, oh man, would we see quite a shift. Because Scump is popular enough to where, he doesn't necessarily here's a few things that might happen. I mean, they might, free Scump or Scump has been trending ever since this happened. And there is a chance because of his popularity that they're going to unban him. But at the same time, the damage has been done. But if they don't unban him, the chances of Scump jumping ship are even higher, to be honest. Because it's like, okay, you're not going to care. Fine. We're going to move on to somebody who does, and I'm going to lead the way. Scump has the ability to do that. He's got the Optic brand as well, and everybody that's in it to back him up. He's got his own fan base, right? He's got he's literally got all the tools available to him and the way to and the power to do it and the popularity behind that to make that possible. And oh man, what good would it do for XDefiant? Not just for the competitive scene, but for the regular pub scene, just for the game in general. It's going to have a major impact on XDefiant. Now, would I like to see something like this happen? I'm going to speak selfishly, yes. Because any form of a boost that XDefiant receives is great. And one like this doesn't come around very often, like I mentioned. And you guys probably know this. A lot of you guys might know this even more than I do because you guys are bigger fans, or you might follow Scump and you might watch him like a hawk or whatnot, or whatever the deal is. But seriously, his fan base, right? It's almost as if he can do no wrong. They will follow him no matter what. Kind of like people who are loyal to brand names, no matter how far off the brand might have fallen from what it once was, right? Whether it's in video games or out of video games, it doesn't matter. And I'm not necessarily saying that all people are blindly following Scump, but I will say also that there are a few people that do blindly follow Scump, because to a few people, Scump can do no wrong, which is a wrong statement in and of itself, and it's not true, right? So, but at the end of the day, he's got a huge fan base, and he's certainly worked hard to attain that fan base, as well as everything else that he's obtained. And he was a very talented player, and he still is to this day. And he could still play to this day if he wanted to. But I think what would be really cool and a really good story is if Scump made a change to XDefiant, and especially since he has every reason to now. I mean, the thing is, he's a free man; he can do whatever he wants. But if that were to happen, oh man, it would do a whole lot of good for the game. It would do a whole lot good for the game. So this could be very interesting. But yeah, as far as the quote unquote support that the competitive community seems to be getting from Activision Blizzard or whatnot, it's like, yeah, dude, it's like, if you guys have an opportunity to where you can make good money playing for XDefiant, you might as well freaking do it. But the thing is, I don't know if that's going to be the case, because Activision Blizzard has the money and Ubisoft is a huge company as well. But the question is, are they going to invest the same amount of money into the players? Again, I'm not sure of this. I'm not too big on the competitive scene. All I would do every once in a while was just watch, and I would kind of maybe listen to a few podcasts here and there. But for the most part, I don't know the nitty gritty like some of you guys might. However, with that being said, as fans of XDefiant that we are on this channel here, what is your opinion about Scump possibly jumping ship? Would you guys like to see that, and why? I would really like to know that down in the comments section below. But anyway, guys, this pretty much concludes the topic of today's discussion. Let me know down in the comments section what you think. And as always, I like to thank everybody for taking the time to watch and or listen. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.